have you ever just stopped and thought about how incredibly complex life is? I mean, from the tiniest microbe to a giant blue whale, it's all built on the same basic principles. So let's try something different. We're going to look at all this not as biologists, but as architects. We're trying to figure out the blueprint for this massive, amazing structure.
So that's the big question we're tackling today. We are going to break down the hierarchy of life, starting with its most fundamental materials and building all the way up to the sprawling city that it creates. So let's get started right at the very foundation.
All right, any big construction project, right? It has to start with raw materials. And in the architecture of life, that means atoms, the very stuff that makes up everything we can see and touch.
Now, when it comes to life, there's one atom that's the absolute MVP, and that's carbon. You see, carbon has this amazing ability to form strong, stable bonds with 4 other atoms. It's like the ultimate Lego brick. It's the perfect master material, the steel frame that the entire building of life is constructed upon.
Okay, so you've got your materials. Now you can start building the first real functional units. In our building analogy, cells are the rooms. Each one is its own self-contained space with all this specialized machinery inside, these little organs called organelles. You can think of them as the room's power supply, its trash disposal, even its security system, all humming along to keep that one room working perfectly. So we have our basic rooms, our cells. But you don't just have a pile of rooms and call it a skyscraper, right? How do you get from a single room to a complete, functional building? Well, it's all about scaling up, layer by incredible layer. And this is the assembly process, laid out nice and simple. First, similar cells, our rooms. They group together to form tissues. You can think of those as the different floors of our building, like the accounting floor or the engineering floor. Then those floors combine to create organs, which are like entire departments. You link those departments together, and suddenly you have organ systems. That's the building's entire infrastructure, like the plumbing and the electrical grid. And finally, you have it, the finished product, a complete, fully functional organism, the whole building. So we've just figured out how to design one incredible building. But now we have to zoom out. We have to pull the camera way, way back and look at the entire city of life on Earth. And I gotta tell you, the scale is almost impossible to wrap your head around. This is where it gets really wild. The sheer variety of life forms, what scientists call biodiversity, is just a massive challenge. I mean, how do you even begin to make sense of a city that has millions, maybe even trillions of totally unique buildings? Let's look at the numbers. Okay, we'll start with plants. We know of almost 400,000 species. That's a staggering number of unique blueprints right there, for everything from the tiniest little moss to a gigantic sequoia tree. But then you get to animals, and the number just explodes. An estimated 8.7 million species. And that's just the estimate. The real number could be way, way higher. For every animal we actually know about, there could be a whole bunch more we've never even laid eyes on. And just when you think it can't get any bigger, we get to bacteria, an estimated 1 trillion species. It's unbelievable. Our city of life isn't just huge. Most of it is completely invisible to us. So that's the big problem, isn't it? When you've got a city this complex, this overwhelmingly large, how do you create a map? How do you organize everything so that you can study it and protect it and just understand how it all fits together? And that highest level, the biggest possible view, is the ecosystem. It's the whole city, all the different populations of buildings interacting with each other and with the city's infrastructure, the roads, the power grid, the weather. It's the complete interconnected system that we desperately need a map for. So, how did we solve this problem of massive complexity? Well, scientists came up with a truly incredible system. The best way to think about it is like a master library, one designed to hold the architectural blueprints for every single building in the entire city of life. And this library has a name: taxonomy. It's the science of classification. Its whole job is to create a logical, standardized system for organizing and naming every living thing, so that a scientist in Brazil and a scientist in Japan can talk about the exact same organism with zero confusion. It's brilliant. And the beauty of this system is how it works. It's basically like a library's filing system. You start with the broadest section, the kingdom, let's call that science fiction, and then you just get more and more specific with each step until you land on the one single book you were looking for, the species. And what's really cool is that today, DNA sequencing is supercharging this whole system, letting scientists draw these family trees with insane precision, sometimes even rewriting entire chapters of this library. Now, every book in a library needs a unique ID code, right? A call number. Well, in the Library of Life, that code is the scientific name, and it tells you exactly where that organism's blueprint is filed. This two-part system is called binomial nomenclature. It sounds fancy, but it's actually super simple. The first name is the genus. That's kind of like the shelf the book is on. And the second name is the species. That's the specific book itself. Together, they create a totally unique ID for every single life form on Earth. And here is a perfect example of why this is so critical. To me and you, they're both just elephants. But to a scientist, Elephas maximus and Loxodonta africana are completely different blueprints for two completely different animals. That kind of precision, well, it's everything. Okay, so we've got this amazing, highly organized library. But you might be wondering, is this all just for the sake of being tidy? And the answer is absolutely not. This system is critical for the actual maintenance and progress of our entire planet. Seriously, don't mistake this for just some academic exercise. Without accurate naming, global science would just fall apart. I mean, how can you conserve a species if you don't know precisely what it is or what makes it different from its cousins? How could you ever conduct reliable medical research or protect our crops if you're confusing one organism for another? This system, it's the absolute bedrock of modern biology. And that leads us to this final, just mind-blowing thought. For all our incredible organization, for all the blueprints we've so carefully filed in our Library of Life, we have only just scratched the surface. The vast majority of the city is still totally unmapped. Just think about that for a second. What new medicines, what new materials, what new fundamental understandings of life itself are hidden away in blueprints we haven't even found yet? The greatest architectural discoveries in the city of life are almost certainly still out there, just waiting for us to find them.